Steve Alley, 1023 ESPN and MMA Meltdown. Very pleased to be joined by Nate the Great Marquardt on the eve of his big fight with Jake Ellenberger. How you doing this morning, Nate?
Oh, good, man. How you doing?
Great. So how is Montreal this time of year?
It's actually not bad. I thought it'd be a bit colder, so it's pretty good.
So here you are getting ready to step into the octagon with Jake Ellenberger, 28-6. You are 35-11. And, wow, a lot of fights between the two of you. I've read other interviews that you've done, and I've read some of how this all developed and so forth. Is it tough at this point in your career? You're 33 years old, and you have, I believe, 45, 46 fights up to this point. Is it difficult to get up for a guy like this, or is it business as usual?
Yeah, not at all. I mean, I think Ellenberger's tough. I think he's, one of the best fighters in the world, and he's super dangerous. He's well-rounded, a lot of experience, good wrestler. I mean, I think he's a very tough guy, and I'm super excited for this. So
you're the former Strikeforce champion, and you did a couple fights there, and you fought all over the world, really, what with the Pancrase and numerous other promotions and victories. You get the victory, or if you do, with Jake Ellenberger. Does that set the table? Is your eye on your former training partner? I know you've probably been asked, hey, would that ever be a possibility to fight George St. Pierre at welterweight? So I'll ask that question here and now.
Of course, the title is my goal, but I'm just focused on this fight, and whatever happens after this fight, I'm not thinking about that.
Sure. With the injury that you suffered to your leg in the last fight out, have you healed up completely? Because you took this fight on pretty short notice.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was cutting it close. Like, basically, I had been in the gym and done rehab and stuff, and I knew that my leg was functioning 100%, but I wasn't sure how it was going to feel if I, got kicked or something. And basically, when I took the fight, I started sparring that week, and towards the end of the week, I took a leg kick, and it turned out good. So it's 100% healed.
When you face an opponent like Jake Ellenberger or anyone else at this particular stage in your career, do you look at one opponent differently than the other? Do you prepare differently? He's a wrestler. It's pretty well known, but your striking is very good, and you've been around many of the great striking trainers and fighters for many years. Do you look at this guy differently than you would another, and do you sit around like others do and break down tape and say, hey, this is this fighter's tendency, and this is what we might do here? After all, you haven't had a huge training camp to prepare for this fighter.
Oh, yeah, kind of like you were saying, like, we look at the tapes and see what he does in certain situations and look for counters and look for ways to attack.
How different will this training camp be from others that you've had in the past, Nate?
Well, basically, the main thing here is I had 3 weeks to get ready, and most of my fights I have 12 to 16 weeks, and so it was kind of done in a rush, but at the same time I feel prepared.
Well, and at the same time, I have to commend you for picking the fight, or at least saying, yes, I'll take the fight, because you're fighting on what appears to be a really stocked fight card where they showcase all the welterweights, and I'll get to that one now. You fought for a long, long time at middleweight, now you're fighting at welterweight. Do you like the welterweight or would you prefer to be back at 185? Is the weight cut still a difficult thing for you?
Well, I mean, the weight cut's not easy, and definitely taking a fight on shorter notice makes the weight cut a lot harder. But I really feel like this is the division for me. I feel I'm a better athlete and I fight better at 170, so this is where I'm going to stay.
When you won the title at Strikeforce at 170, I really felt, Nate, and we go back a long, long time, and I've seen your career go from day one to present day. I thought that fight you fought at Strikeforce was the best that I'd ever seen, and if you duplicate that effort in this Ultimate Fighting Championship against Jake Ellenberger, you'll come out of that octagon with a victory. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. That was one of my best performances, and Woodley's definitely one of my toughest opponents. So I mean, him and Ellenberger are different style fighters. I go out every fight and give 100%, but I got to make sure I fight Ellenberger the right way, and if I fight him the right way, I win this fight. If I fight him the wrong way, it's easy for him to win. So,
is there any added pressure on you since you just took a defeat, and now you're coming right back in against an arguably one of the top-level fighters in the welterweight class that the UFC has to offer? Is there a certain added pressure for you to perform, even though this fight is on short notice?
Yeah, I think anytime you take a loss, you feel more pressure your next fight. I think, but for me, it's a good thing. It makes me keeps me on my toes and just keeps me mentally sharp. So.
Very good. Our special guest right here, Nate the Great Marquardt, who will fight Jake Ellenberger on the undercard of the Big Diaz St. Pierre UFC fight card. Nate, I've talked with you many, many times over the years, followed your career, obviously, since you're from the Denver area. All I can say at this point is go out, get yourself another big victory, elevate your status again, because you've had to do that so many times. And we wish you the best, not only on Saturday, but continuing in your future in mixed martial arts. Thanks for the time.
Well, thanks, Steve.
This call has been recorded.